instances. In this video, we'll be covering about what are instances with its example, what are schemas with its example, types of schema and difference between instances and schema. Now let's start our discussion with what are instances. The data stored in database at a particular moment of time is called instance of database. It is the current state of any database at a given time, and it is changed only when operations are performed on it. It is important to note that any search query will never make any difference in an instance. Now to understand what instances actually are, let's take this example. Suppose we have got a school database with a teacher table in it and it has got 100 entries. So now at this particular moment of time, the instance of the database would be 100. But if after a few months 20 new teachers join this school, so then the instance of the table will be 120 entries. Now let's move further to our next topic, schemas. So schemas basically are the overall description of the database. In simple words, you can also call it as the blueprint of any database. It shows us the basic structure of how data will be stored in the database and tell us what data goes where. Now to understand it in a better way, let's take an example. As we discussed earlier, schemas are the blueprint. So here in this example, we have three tables named as teacher, department and the subject. In all these three tables, we can see it clearly that what fields belong to which table and what data belong to which table. For example, the teacher name is a field entry of the table named as teacher. Moving on, we have type of schemas. Basically, there are three types of schemas: logical schema, physical schema, and view schema. Firstly, let's discuss what is logical schema. Logical schema. It describes the database designed at a logical level and all the logical constraints that need to be applied to the stored data. The logical schema describes how the data is stored in the form of tables and how the attributes of a table are connected. Then we have physical schema. It describes the database design at physical level and how data is stored in the storage system. Basically, it is the actual code or syntax needed to create the structure of a database. The database administrator chooses where and how to store the data in the different block of storage. Next we have view schema. It describes the database design at a view level. It defines our interaction between our end user and the database. It enables user to interact with the database with the help of interface without knowing much about the stored mechanism of data in the database. Now the difference between instances and schemas. So instances basically are the collection of information stored in the database at a particular moment of time, whereas schemas are the overall description of the database. The data stored in the instances can be changed using operation like addition and subtraction, whereas the data stored in schemas remains same for the whole database. Instances change frequently as addition of new entries or fields to any table changes the instance of the table. But in schemas, it does not change frequently. And that's all about all the concepts of schemas and instances. Hope you got a clear grip of what these two basically are.